Hey everyone, my name is Taylor Schulte. I'm a certified financial planner professional, and I'm the founder of Define Financial. We are a retirement planning firm out here in sunny San Diego. And today I'm going to talk to you about credit scores and everything that you need to know about them. I'm also going to end this presentation with two really important action items that everybody should go and do. So let's dive right in. The first thing I want to cover is what exactly is your credit score. Sometimes there's a lot of confusion around what this is and what it's used for. So let's just break it down really simply in plain English. Your credit score is a number, and that number represents how good you are at borrowing money and then paying that money back. It's that simple. And again, it results in a three-digit number that represents your credit score. And it looks like this. It could be anywhere from 300, which is considered bad, all the way up to 850, which is considered excellent, and everything in between. Your credit score is not static. It changes daily, monthly, quarterly, annually, based on a number of different things. There are three credit reporting agencies that you need to know about: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. These are the three agencies that are most important. And they predict your credit score and give you that credit score by tracking a handful of things. Number one, how often do you pay your bills on time? Number two, how long have you been paying your bills on time? What does your track record look like over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years? How long have you been paying your bills on time? Number three, how much debt do you currently have? Number four, how many loan payments or bills along the way have you missed? And then number five, how much money can you currently borrow? This is also known as your available credit. How much money are you currently able to borrow through different credit cards and potential loans out there? So those are the five things, the five main things that these credit reporting agencies are looking at and monitoring, again, on a daily, monthly, quarterly, annual basis that influence your credit score. And sometimes there's this confusion over your credit report and your credit score. We've all seen those ads and those commercials to get your free credit report. Your credit report is not your credit score. These are two different things. Your credit report simply just documents the past. It documents your credit history, all those things we just talked about: paying your bills on time, how many payments you've missed, how many accounts you currently have open, how many accounts you've closed. Your credit report documents all of this. It documents your credit history. And your history then influences your credit score. So here's a nice image kind of comparing the two. You've got your credit report, your history, and that influences that three-digit number, your credit score. That sums up your history. And so why is this all important? Well, a healthy credit score is needed, number one, to borrow money to begin with. But if you want to borrow money at low competitive rates, all those great rates that you see advertised at auto dealerships and home loans, if you want one of those really good low rates, you need a healthy credit score. Along with home loans and auto loans, it includes getting a credit card. If you have a really poor credit score, credit card companies, number one, may not even loan you money or give you a credit card, but if they do, you might have a really, really high interest rate. Like I said, it's also important if you're leasing a car or getting an auto loan. Even if you're not buying a house and you're just renting a home or renting an apartment and you're filling out that application, your credit score is a part of that application. That landlord is going to review that. And if you don't have a good credit score, you may not be able to rent an apartment or a home. Of course, a home loan, if you're applying for a home loan, a good credit score is needed for those low rates and to qualify. And even something as simple as a cell phone plan. So credit scores are really important. How do you improve it? Very few people have a perfect credit score. So no matter what, everybody's always looking to improve their credit score. If you do have a poor credit score, let's talk about some really important things that you can do to improve it. The first is borrow money and pay it back on time. I know sometimes the best things to do in life are the simplest, and this is one of them. So borrowing money and paying it back on time is a very, very effective way to improve your credit score. Second, we want to keep our credit cards that have low or zero annual fees. We want to keep them active. If you have some high fee credit cards that are just eating away at your wallet, you might decide to close those. I don't want you to just keep a bunch of credit cards open, especially if they're charging high fees. But if you have a handful of credit cards that have been open and they have very low or hopefully zero annual fees, keep those credit cards active. A lot of people just kind of blindly and carelessly try to clean up their financial life and just cancel all these credit cards and throw them in the trash. That can actually hurt your credit score in certain situations. So we want to go about this prudently. We don't want to just carelessly keep a bunch of cards or carelessly get rid of them. But those that have low or zero annual fees, let's keep those active. And then lastly, most important, we want to use those credit cards, right? And we want to keep a credit utilization rate below 30%. So let's talk about what that last one means, because it's a little bit more complex. Your credit utilization rate is your credit balance divided by your credit limit. And again, we want to keep that below 30%. So let's paint just a really simple example here. Let's say that you have a credit card and the spending limit on that credit card is $1,000. So you can't spend more than $1,000. Once you hit $1,000 and you go to try to use that credit card again, it's going to get denied until you pay it off or pay it down. So you have a limit of $1,000 on your credit card. Here's the deal. Don't spend more than $300 at a time. This keeps your credit utilization rate below that 30% number. $300 divided by $1,000 equals 30%. So we don't want to spend more than $300 on that particular credit card. And then lastly, again, most important, we want to spend it and then we want to pay it back on time. So we don't want to hold on to that balance of $300. We want to hit that 300 and then we want to pay it back on time. Again, 30% is the max. There are arguments for keeping it lower than that, but I'm just giving you the absolute max. I don't want to see that utilization rate higher than 30%. And this is one of the reasons to have, 2, 3, maybe, 4 or 5 credit cards open. Again, low, hopefully 0 annual fees. I don't want you to keep a bunch of high fee credit cards open. But if you have, let's say, 3 credit cards that have a $1,000 limit on each, then you can spend $300 on each of those cards, keeping that utilization rate below 30%, and then pay each of those cards off at the end of the month on time. Now you're really working to improve your credit history and improve your credit score by showing I can keep a low utilization rate, I can borrow money, and I can pay it back on time. So there are some credit score myths out there that I want to bust. Do not pay interest to boost your credit score. Sometimes people get these things mixed up thinking, oh, I heard that to keep my credit card open, and they interpret that as I should have a balance on my credit card at all times. And that's not the case. Again, we want to spend money, keep it below that utilization rate, and then we want to pay it back. We don't want to hold that balance and pay interest on it. That is a myth. Carrying debt, again, and paying interest hurts your credit score, so don't do this. Borrow, pay back, repeat. Again, very simple. I'm not saying it's easy to do, but that's the simple formula for taking care of your credit score. I mentioned I had 2 really important action items for you guys to take as a result of this presentation. The first is to sign up for free credit monitoring. Here's the deal. Credit monitoring is like an alarm system on your house. It's going to tell you after somebody's already broken in, after somebody's already taken a loan out in your name or opened up a credit card in your name. It's going to tell you after the fact. So it's not preventative, but it's important. And it's the first step. And the second step, I'll talk about in a minute, but the first step is let's just install that alarm system. And here's the thing, I don't want you to pay for it. You don't need to subscribe to something like LifeLock and spend your money on that. There are actually some great free credit monitoring services out there. Credit Karma and Credit Sesame are 2 to consider checking out. Once you have free credit monitoring in place, your second step is to freeze your credit. And unlike credit monitoring, freezing your credit is like putting a lock on your front door. Nobody can get in once your credit is frozen. So not only don't I want you to freeze your credit, but if you have a spouse, you have kids, you have loved ones, you have friends, you have neighbors, they need to freeze their credit as well. The great thing is that freezing your credit is now free, and you need to do it with all 3 agencies. So you go to Experian's website, Equifax's website, and TransUnion's website individually, freeze your credit with them, and again, for your spouse and your kids. Again, there's an order of operations here. I want you to sign up for free credit monitoring first and then freeze your credit. And you might wonder why. Well, the reason why is if your credit is frozen, you can't sign up for credit monitoring because your credit's frozen. You can't sign up for anything. You can't even open a credit card or a loan or anything. So we want to get that free credit monitoring in place first and then go and freeze your credit. And now you might be wondering, oh, if I freeze my credit, I can't open a credit card? Yes, but you can unfreeze your credit and then go apply for that credit card and then go back and freeze it again, or unfreeze it, go get that auto loan and then freeze it again. So it is a little bit of a task when you need to take out a loan, but again, we're putting that lock on the front door, making sure that nobody can break in. When you need to open that lock, you can open it, go get that loan and then lock it back up again. So those are your 2 action items. Get that free credit monitoring, sign up, and then go and freeze your credit, your families, your spouses, your kids, your friends, your family. Freeze your credit with all 3 agencies.